Well, I'm going to talk about some of the costs associated with the remote life that people don't consider. People, it's a new thing, as you know, that working remote, being a digital nomad, being with the location independence. Those are very nice things, but there's some costs that nobody calculates when they're considering to have that lifestyle. Number one, if you live in the United States, by law, even if you're not physically living here, you have to have a medical insurance in the United States. Because at the end of the year, when you make your tax declaration, you have to prove that you have insurance for the last 12 months. If you don't, you get a penalty of several $1,000s. So in my case, for instance, I spent less than a month here, so even though I am not living physically in the United States, I have to pay insurance for the whole year. So keep that in mind. The second thing, if you have a company here in the United States, you don't need a physical location for a lot of the remote things that you do, but you will need a phone number from the United States. And to have that phone number, you have to pay a monthly payment just to keep the number active. And by the way, something that you're gonna need, because as you're working remote, you are gonna change IPs, you're gonna change location, and when you have to access, even if you do it with a VPN, when you're gonna access to your bank account, to your PayPal account, anything, it's gonna trigger that you're logging in from a different location, and most likely you're gonna be asked for verification. And those verifications, they come up usually as a text message. So no matter what, you have to have that phone active in the United States, so you can, no matter what you are. I usually activate a phone wherever I go. If I go to Argentina, I activate a phone number in Argentina. If I go to Spain, I activate a number in Spain, or Europe at least. But those are fixed expenses that you cannot really stop. The third thing has to deal with your car. Like, for instance, I have this car here in the United States, and you gotta consider your particular situation. First of all, the registration, you gotta pay for it every year, even if you are not using your car, or you're using the car only 20 days of the year, you gotta pay for the registration. Number two, you have to pay for insurance, obviously, every single month. Even if you're not using your car, you have to pay for insurance 12 months out of the year. So that's a fixed cost that even though you're not using, you gotta pay for it. One way around the car situation is to lease your car. If your car is kind of new, you can list it on Turo, which is an app that allows you to rent your car, just like Airbnb. You can rent your car to particulars. And I don't know if this is happening in every city, but for instance, here in Miami, you can leave your car to a company that manages your car, and they do everything. They lease your car, they receive the client, they receive the documentation of the client, they clean the car when the client give it back, and they do everything. Basically, they manage your car for you. And that's a way that you can profit, even though obviously they're gonna get a cut of whatever. I think it's 20% of whatever you make. But that's pretty decent, because you don't have time to be doing that if you're living abroad. But that's a very nice way to profit. I have friends, like I said, they're doing $2,000 per car. They're paying for the mortgage. No, it's not a mortgage, it's a loan to buy the car. They pay this admin company, and they still profit around $2,000 using Turo. And when they come back to their city, they can use their car. They just take it out of Turo, and that month, whatever time they're gonna be in their city, they use that car. So that's a way around that. So at least you gotta keep on thinking about that one. And in a different video, I'm gonna talk about what you can do with your house too, in case you have a mortgage or whatever. Things that you have to keep in mind when you're going to be living in a remote life. Okay, so see you in the next video.